Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Once again, I'm Nicodemus Kane. Today is August the 22nd of 2022. It is a Monday. We had a interesting weekend. Bought a lot of stuff for the house because we have to do some things around the house. The whole home ownership thing. Nobody else is going to do it for you. But we had to buy a lot of stuff for the house, and we had a somewhat relaxing weekend. Not much that I heard was going on. Just same old, same old. People talking about things that they're never going to fix. Then other people talking about distractions that have just about nothing to do with anything. But everybody wants to keep talking about them while in the background, all those evil men and women that are in charge are constantly shifting the cards around. They're constantly doing whatever it is in the background that you don't know about, so they can get us all ready for the fall, which is coming. That's why I constantly say, always keep your discernment ready. Keep your judgment glasses on. Use those discernment hairs on the back of your head. Make sure that you look at everything through the eye of truth. Pray and ask God to show you the truth in all things at all times, no matter how bad it is. You need to know the truth. There was actually a conversation that I was having this weekend with someone that I was saying something about this. Let's call it what it is. It's child grooming. It is what it is. What they're doing in the schools, what they are doing to kids between the ages of 5 and 10, asking them what they want to be, who they want to be, sexualizing them way before they are even capable of understanding what the term sex is. And I was telling them the truth. I was just talking about the truth. I was just saying, there are people that are making statements now where they are saying they are taking their kids to their doctors and their pediatricians, and these doctors are, they're asking them what they want to be called, who they want to be. It starts at a very young age. And then, of course, you get into the schools and they do the same thing. They start asking, what do you want to be? Who are you? What do you identify as? And it puts these ideas into these kids' heads who have no business worrying about that kind of stuff. But, of course, for someone that doesn't understand, that hasn't really paid attention to what's going on, that's a hard truth. That's stuff that people don't want to hear. They just want to be like, no, it's not happening. It's either that, or I have actually heard somebody say, but that's not happening here, so don't worry about it. That's not going to happen to us. It doesn't matter if it's not going to happen to you or not. It's the fact that it's happening, and it needs to be stopped. But of course, the world's just going to keep right on trucking. So there was a shutdown of that conversation. And it was just another one of those things where it was like, people don't want to hear the truth, no matter how bad it is. You can hear some of the truth and you could probably get through it. You could probably say, that's pretty bad. Yes, this is a problem. Yes, we should do something about it. But there are some truths that hit so hard that people will just flat out shut down. I mean, this was a truther that I was talking to. This was somebody who understood. Somebody that I've been talking to for a while, and bringing them into the understanding that everything is a lie, everything is something that was made up by some evil person somewhere in order to manipulate us and trap us into this false reality. And so they understood. But when it came to real hard truth, hard hitting stuff, they shut down. But you have to tell the truth in everything. You need to have the whole truth. And I get it. I've talked before about easing people into it. So I can come back later and I could probably take another approach to that if I wanted to. But don't ever soften it up. Hit it with the truth. If they can't handle it, then approach it from a different way. Don't force it. Don't ever force the truth on somebody. But at least speak it. At least have that seed planted. And then come back to it later at a different angle, different approach. Something that they can take. Don't ever soften it up. Don't ever water the truth down. Don't ever water the truth down. Always give it as it is. Now, of course, I say that, and I have a YouTube channel where I have to speak in codes and all these things in order to be able to keep my videos online. Even though I'm on a strike right now and I can't post anything until Thursday. And I say, don't ever water it down whenever I personally have, talked around the truth. And that's what we have to do on YouTube. That's what we have to do. I try to give it to you. I give it to you as straight as, as straight as I can. I tell you, there's a certain thing going around in the world right now that's not killing as many people as you think it is, and that there is a cure for it that comes in the form of a shot that is actually harming more people than it's helping. But if I said the actual names, I get my videos pulled. But that's the truth of the matter. Truth of the matter is that the cure is worse than the disease. Actually, when you sit back and you listen to some independent doctors, the cure has been worse than disease for more than 50 years. They're not trying to cure people. They're just trying to what's the word? Help people. They're not trying to cure you so that you can go away. They're making a permanent patient of you so that you will keep coming back for more medication. That's what it is. I've said it before, and I will say it again. Medical malpractice is now the number one cause of death in the United States. Medical malpractice. It used to be number 3 or 4. It might have been number 4. I don't remember. But now it's number 1. So, and I have personally been victim to this myself. I have had family members that have died because a doctor prescribed the wrong medicine, or prescribed the wrong amount of medicine, or misdiagnosed a problem. Many, many different things. Several of my family members. I had 2 family members die back in 2020 when all this started. They got sick, they went into the hospital, and then both of them mysteriously died of kidney failure. And I'm not going to call the name of that certain drug out, but there is a certain drug out there that causes kidney failure that, has been used a lot over the past 2 years. So I'm just throwing that out there. I also had my stepfather died of a blood clot after, certain cures or certain injections came out. It's hard to get anyone in my family to listen to the idea that, maybe something else is going on there, but I know the truth. I know what's going on. If they don't want to hear it, I don't know what to do. It is what it is. They don't want to hear it. I've come at it several different ways, and they still don't want to hear it. So keep trying, though. I'll keep trying different tactics. Get them to listen. Anyways, now that has probably absolutely killed my YouTube channel. But whatever. I'm on a BitChute and the other ones now, Odyssey and Brighteon. What is this? There's another one now. I just saw it the other day because it was on Twitter. Rumble? Is that what it is? Is that a video thing? I have no idea. I don't know. If anybody else has any other suggestions, let me know, because it is what it is. And if anybody knows how to upscale videos, upscale old videos from in order that I can start posting them on Brighteon, because it's that whole, I had to be under, the bit rate had to be 300 kilobytes per second or something, and I found out I've been recording all this time at 240, and so I can't upload any of my old videos to Brighteon. Sorry guys, it is what it is. So they need an upscaler. I don't know if I want to do that, and I've already said, if you want to go find those old videos, if my YouTube channel is still there, it's Nicodemus Kane. It's all one word, lowercase. It's on BitChute, which is probably going to be your best bet. You're not going to get the video game commentaries, but you're going to get every bit of the truth stuff. That's on BitChute. I don't think BitChute's going to be dropping anything. I don't know about Odyssey. I don't know if I want to upload everything to Odyssey. I need to upload at least 2 videos a day to Odyssey just to start getting that going. I just don't, I don't know. I'm lazy, I guess that's the word. I have to do it while I'm working, and I'm working. That's my work. This is when I'm supposed to be doing work. Especially today. Today's Monday. Monday is my double workload days. It's where I have to do other things besides my normal work, because I'm a jack of all trades at work. It is what it is. They have me do everything. Whatever. Anyways, let's today's going to be Isaiah 33. I know it's the number, but it is what it is. Remember, all numbers were made by God for him before evil men took those numbers and corrupted them and turned them into something else. So just remember, all numbers were good at one point in time until evil, wicked men turned them into something bad. All right, just remember that. But again, today's going to be Isaiah 33. I'm going to take a 5-second pause and take a drink of water. I might blow my nose too, because it just feels like my nose is wanting to start being stupid. So here is, I don't know, 15 seconds. I can't count and blow my nose. I've tried. It's weird. I can't do it. Maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds of dead silence for you to contemplate. Open up your Bibles if you want to read along with me. You can do that too. Hold on a second. That's for real, man. I can't count and blow my nose. I don't know why. It's like I can go like 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, and then I'm like 4, 5, and it's gone. I don't. It's like other things. You just can't do at the same time. I'm not going to get too graphic, but I don't know why. I don't know what. I'm sure other people can. I'm just, for some reason, I can't. It is what it is. Anyways, Isaiah 33. I got it here. Let me open up my Strong's Concordance so that we can look up some words if we need help. My arm is hurting. I slept on it wrong this weekend. It's really hurting my shoulder, and that was just, again, I had a rough time sleeping this weekend, especially. Oh wow, when did that happen? Friday night? I think it was Friday night. We had the power went out for 4 hours. No, not 4 hours. No. It went out for 6 hours. Yeah, it was apparently somebody had an accident, ran into a pole, and it killed the power to like 1,200 people. You know, you live out here away from the cities, you know, far enough away that all it takes is one pole going down could wipe out entire neighborhoods. But apparently somebody had an accident and hit a pole, and it wiped out power for us. So it went down. It was 5:30. I mean, we just got off of work, and I was just kind of settling down, just playing some video games because I was off work and I was ready to play, and my wife was still upstairs finishing her job, and it was just, everything just died. I was like, what the heck? And then we started hearing the rumblings that there was an accident and they were working on it, and it didn't come back on until about 11 or 11:30. Yeah, that was crazy though. It was that whole time. It's just, there was nothing. But I did not sleep well that night. I didn't sleep well Saturday night. And didn't sleep well last night either. Kept having these weird, crazy dreams. And it's been weird, crazy dreams. Mostly about being stuck in houses that I don't know where they were. I don't know. Weird stuff, man. Weird stuff. I'm sure there's some kind of dream interpretation that I need to talk to God about, but I am not there right now. Anyways, Isaiah 33. Let's do this. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. O Lord, be gracious unto us. We have waited for thee. Be thou their arm every morning, our salvation also in the time of trouble. At the noise of the tumults, the people fled. At the lifting up of thyself, the nations were scattered. My tongue is not working today, guys. I am sorry. And your spoil shall be gathered like the gathering of the caterpillar, as the running to and fro of locusts shall he run upon them. The Lord is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He hath... I lost my place. I looked away for a second. I lost my place. Okay, verse 5. The Lord is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Let's stop there for a second. I know it's not a break, but It's 13 verses before we actually get to a break. This one's kind of long too. This one's about a page and a half. But let's go back before we get too far and let's talk about this. Starting again from the top. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled. Woe to those that hurt others, to spoil others, but you were not spoiled. And dealest treacherously, which is pretty much what it means, is that, you know, you cause harm to somebody else, but you have nothing come back to you, or you do something to someone else and nothing comes back to you. And dealest treacherously, which is pretty much what it means. And deals treacherously. And dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. Which is it's an eye for an eye thing. You know, if you're going to do this to me, we're going to do this back to you. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So when you try to stop, they're going to come back on you. O Lord, be gracious unto us. We have waited for thee. Be thou their arm every morning. Our salvation also in the time of trouble. Amen to that one. At the noise of the tumult, the people fled. At the lifting up of thyself, the nations were scattered. And your spoil shall be gathered like the gathering of a caterpillar. As the running to and fro of locusts shall he run upon them. The Lord is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, which is one of the few things that we are running extremely low on anymore, is the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of this world. We have been lied to so much, but we don't know anything. This doesn't just include the knowledge of our history. This doesn't just include the knowledge of the things that are happening around us. This is God's word. It's his people die for a lack of knowledge. There will be a famine of the word in the world. They will not know the truth. It wasn't until he opened my eyes and I was able to learn the truth that I was able to stop and look back and say, why had nobody told me this before? Why did I not have the understanding for the 40 years that I was alive, that I used to read the Bible and use the Bible against Christians, saying, you know, if you believe this, why don't you believe this? Or why don't you do this? And it wasn't until he gave me that knowledge and wisdom, and I was able to go back and look at it and say, this is why. This is the understanding that I never had. And all I had to do was give myself over to him, to ask him, to pray to him, to help me, give me this knowledge and understanding. But we are drowning in lies right now. Somebody, one of the meetups that we had, was a couple months ago. Somebody said that we are swimming in lies. That you know, there are so many lies out there that we are just swimming in it. And I said, no. We are not swimming in lies. We are drowning in lies. There is no coming to the surface. We are flat out covered in these lies. And there's only so many of us that are even, you know, scratching the truth. Some people, I've heard so many guys, so many truthers that, you know, they want to claim, oh, I know everything. I've got it all. I've got it all figured out. I know all of this. I know everything. Again, I think they're just scratching the surface. I think that we haven't even begun to understand. We understand what it says in the Bible, but even the Bible, there are some things that are hidden from us, which is the way it's supposed to be. God is purposely hiding things from us because we're not ready to see him yet. Are you really, truly ready to see the angels that have the 6 wings, that are full of eyes, that have the glowing, the glowing rings, the chariots, these glowing rings that have eyes all over them? Are you truly ready to see these things come down to the world? You know, are you ready to understand that more than likely Adam and Eve were probably 4 times bigger than we are? Are you ready to understand that we are little tiny, I don't know how to put this. We are not nearly as big as men were back in the day. I have covered this before. Everything in this world was bigger before the flood. They have constantly found over and over again that animals were bigger. Now, it was probably because it was a much more oxygen-rich environment. You know, you talk about the dragonflies that had the 4-foot wingspans, the elephants that were 4 times bigger than they are now. They were the size of buildings. You know, we talk about giants, but then we talk about big humans. You know, people want to always talk about measuring things in cubits from the elbow to the tips of your fingers, but you have to remember that people were bigger back then. So the cubit was bigger back then. And that's what we find whenever we start measuring these things out, is they're just a little bit bigger than what everybody else says they are. That's why science always says, well, this isn't it because this is supposed to be like this, and it doesn't measure out right, or it doesn't do this right. Are you ready for that conversation yet? You know, we are only scratching the surface of what it could be. And I could be wrong. I've even said that many times. I could absolutely be wrong. I could be completely off of my gourd wrong. And that somehow magically for the past, it's either 4,000 years, 6,000 years, 8,000 years. Enoch says 10,000 years. It could be any amount of years. But for the past however many, years, that we've just magically remained 6 feet tall, or, if you listen to science, we've been short all this time. It's amazing how, for some reason, human beings, according to science, human beings have been 5 foot tall or shorter for all of this time, and yet they're making these gigantic buildings with these doors that are 20 feet tall. Or they make all these door stops, these regular doors for these buildings, for some of these houses and stuff. They decide that they want to make them with these 7 foot tall door frames. They want to make the insides of these with these high ceilings that are 8 feet tall. These 5 foot nothing guys decided that everything that they want, they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna make 2 to 3 feet taller than they are, and that it's only within the past 1,000 years that man has decided that he wants to start growing. Well, we were only 5 foot. The average height of a human being was only 5'3" 1,000 years ago. Now the average height is 5'10". You really believe that? You really believe that? And they kept that height forever? Well, were we any smaller than that? Were we pygmies back in the day? No. We've regressed. The Bible says everything will regress down. We've regressed. They started off big, and we've shrank as time has gone. We still see the remnants of that giant bloodline in the guys that they happen to get 6 foot, 7 foot tall. We call them basketball players now. We made them into entertainers. Actually, they used to be taller back in the 80s. Believe it or not. Go watch. We've been watching Night Court reruns. Do you realize that the top 4 actors in that show were all over 6 foot tall? Something that people don't really understand. Bull, the guard in Night Court, was like 6'7", I think, something like that. Dan, the lawyer, he was only 2 inches shorter. Judge Harry, he was right there with Dan. And then Mac, the guy that does the filing, he was just a couple inches shorter than that. So you're talking from like 6'1" to like 6'7". Those are some tall dudes, and you see everybody else that's on that show, and they're tiny compared to these guys. I know, it's ridiculous. Oh, it's Night Court. Why are you talking about Night Court? It's because it's there, because they managed to find like 4 of the tallest actors that they could to be on this show. And you're just kind of like, you hear about all these other guys, all these other actors from like the 60s and 70s, these big tall dudes. Eastwood was like 6'2" or something, I think. John Wayne himself was over 6 foot tall. You see actors now, you see all these guys now, man, these guys aren't even breaking 6 foot tall. Tom Cruise, one of the biggest action stars in the world, is only like 5'8". They put him on a box when he acts in order to look taller than everybody else. All these other guys that they bring out, other than certain people, they're all under 6 foot tall. We're not growing, we're shrinking. The average human being is shrinking. We all fade away. At any rate, you're not ready to have those conversations yet. You're not ready to have the conversations of what the Bible says that the angels are. That what it is that you are. We have lost that wisdom and knowledge. That's how it ties back into this. I went off on a tangent. I am sorry, but when you get into that stuff, it gets I could talk about this stuff all day. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. And strength of salvation. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the strength of salvation. That is a good line. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. And that's probably not fear. I'm going to look that word up too, because we have found out that fear does not mean fear necessarily. Respect or reverence. Morally, reverence. The reverence of the Lord. Everybody always, non-Christian types, will say, oh, you gotta have the fear of the Lord. Why would you have to worry about being in fear? You always have to be in fear of the Lord. Why would you want to live in fear of something that you can't see? No, you live in reverence. You give him respect and love. Why would you want to give him respect and love? Well, he only made everything. He only gave you life and love, and he wants to give you even more than that. The only reason that you don't have all these things that he promised you is because you won't listen to him. He wants to give you the best things. He wants to have you live in peace and love and harmony, and he wants you to be fruitful and multiply and have all of the best things in the world. He wants you to plant your crops and have record numbers of food that you can share with other people. He wants you to live righteously and have children and love your children and have them grow up to be good and perfect and righteous and let you have your rest and have your peace and have your comfort, have your happiness. He wants that for you, but you don't want to listen to him, so he doesn't give it to you. That's why you are so afraid of having any kind of reverence for God. Why you will read the Bible and call it fear and not understand that's not what that word means. But that is why, again, wisdom and knowledge is the strength of salvation. That's why we talk about these things. It's probably why God made me do this. I don't know. Other than to maybe try to save at least one person. All right, verse 7. Behold, their valiant ones shall cry without. The ambassadors of peace shall weep bitterly. The highways lie waste. The wayfaring man ceaseth. Did it. The highways lie waste. The wayfaring man ceaseth. He hath broken the covenant. He hath despised the cities. He regardeth no man. The earth mourneth and languisheth. Lebanon is ashamed and hewn down. Sharon is like a wilderness. That's Sharon, but I'm thinking it might be Sharon. Sharon is like a wilderness. And Bashan and Carmel shake off their fruits. Now will I rise, saith the Lord. Now will I be exalted. Now will I lift up myself. Ye shall conceive chaff. Ye shall bring forth stubble. Your breath as fire shall devour you. And the people shall be as the buildings of lime. As thorns cut up shall they be burned in the fire. And there's an actual paragraph break on verse 13. And I don't see another one until this ends. Okay. So going back to verse 7, behold, their valiant ones shall cry without, the ambassadors of peace shall weep bitterly. Now you will have war come against you. The highways lie waste, the wayfaring man ceaseth. He hath broken the covenant, he hath despised the cities, he regardeth no man. The wayfaring man ceaseth. The one who passes over. The one that, where was it at? I was right there. The highways lie waste. The wayfaring man. The ones that go from place to place. He stops. He hath broken the covenant. And this is probably a religious, let me see here. A traveler. I'm looking to see if this is a guy that might this is one that could be and I don't see anything that says that he could be a priest or someone that knows the word or passes the word on. It's just someone that passes along, crosses over, march over, passes through. The highways lie waste, the wayfaring man ceaseth. He hath broken the covenant, he hath despised the cities, he regardeth no man. Again, that's another one that we could probably look further into to see exactly what it means. The earth mourneth and languisheth. Lebanon is ashamed and hewn down. Let's find out what this word is. Is it Sharon or Sharon? Every time I see it, I think Sharon. That's just me. Where is it at? There it is. I scrolled down too much. Plain. Sharon, the name of a place in Palestine. A plain. It is a plain, just simply a plain of grass. Sharon is like a wilderness. There you go. And Bashan, which is a place of, it was a place of fruitfulness. There you go. Bashan and Carmel shake off their fruits. Of course, you talk about whenever the Israelites came over into the valley and it was Bashan, Og of Bashan, the giants, who, according to anything you read, could have been anywhere from 15 feet tall to, what was the highest one I said? At one point in time, the highest one I said was 1.5 miles or something like that. That was the measurement that they had, which was absurd, but it's absolutely possible at this point. You're talking just monsters. But this was a land of fruitfulness. It was a fruitful place. This is why they were sent there. This is why whenever they went down into the valley and they came back, they had a bundle of grapes that was strapped on a pole between two men. Now, this is not a normal bundle of grapes. This is, it's not like you've just got a bundle of grapes that, maybe it's, a couple hundred grapes on a big, huge bundle they pulled off a vine. No. This was two strapping young lads that were carrying a giant bundle of grapes. It was a fruitful place between the two of them. These grapes were big because when the Canaanites and the Edomites went north, these are the lands that they settled in. This is one of the few places that still probably had oxygen-rich environments, which the food could grow big, the people could grow big, and giants could still live there, could still exist there. Because nowadays a giant can't really exist in our environment anymore. They say that even the scientists now say that dinosaurs can't exist now because there's not enough oxygen in order to be able to sustain them. Again, dinosaurs are just giant lizards. I absolutely believe that giant lizards existed. I don't know if I want to believe in Tyrannosauruses or velociraptors or crazy stuff like that. I don't believe that those are real. I think those are just made up I do believe that there were probably docile lizards that grew to be the size of elephants that roamed around and, just existed. They lived. We have plenty of artifacts in the world that have images of human beings riding on the back of dinosaurs. What we call dinosaurs, riding on the back of giant lizards, whatever you want to call it. The Romans had stuff like that. The South Americans had stuff like that. The Native Americans, North Americans, they had images like that, where they would have these giant beasts and they would have images of men riding on the back of them. So, somewhere along the line, that happened. And, again, science can't, they can't classify that. They call them oops. They're just out-of-place objects. It's like, oh, maybe, somebody recent probably just drew that in. Oh, did they now? You claim this pottery is, so many thousands of years old, but you also want to claim that somebody modern made this. Right, whatever. But that's the area where they settled because it was enough to sustain them. You got to remember that a giant has to eat a lot of food, has to eat an absolute amount of just food constantly. That's why whenever all the giants existed before the flood, that whenever they couldn't live off the land, they started eating human beings. And when they couldn't live off of human beings, they started living off of each other. This was part of the problem why God had to wipe these people out, is because they were feeding on each other so much. If God hadn't wiped out the giants, hadn't wiped out the bloodlines that were tainted, there would be nothing left. There would be absolutely nothing left. People think that God is a murdering, heartless psychopath. No, God wiped those people out because if that had been allowed to continue, there would have been nothing left anyways. It would have gone down to where there would have been like one giant, and he would eventually had to have eaten himself anyways. So there would have been nothing. God did it for a reason. And then later on, whenever God said you have to go wipe out, all of these certain people, the Canaanites, the Jebusites, the Amalekites, the whateverites, all these other people, that it says that, he tells the Israelites to go wipe all these people out. Don't leave anybody left. Women, children, dogs, cats. Don't even grow crops for 3 years after you wipe these people out. When he told them to do that, he said if these people were allowed to continue to live, it's going to continue to go. These were giants. Read the Bible. It says in there that these people were giants. Og of Bashan. They had to take down Og of Bashan and all of his people because they were giants. They were huge. If you don't take them down, it's just going to keep going. It repeats over and over again. Evil snowballs until there is nothing left. That's not my word. That's the Bible's word. If you're going to believe that this word is the true and 100% word of God, and if you're going to follow it to the letter, you definitely need to read it so you can understand what the heck is going on. So anyways, but that's Bashan. Bashan and Carmel, which I've never heard of Carmel before, shall throw off their fruits. Where was that at? 9. Carmel. It's a garden land. It's the name of a hill of a town in Palestine, a mountain on the Mediterranean coast of northern Israel, just below Haifa. Haifa? Town in the mountains of the west side of the Dead Sea and south of Hebron. But it's the garden land. But it's Bashan and Carmel. The fruitful land and the garden land shall shake off their fruits, or they will wither away. Bashan's an interesting place to talk about. When my granddaughter gets a little older, I'm going to have so many stories to be able to tell her of the giants and the lands of the giants and the lands of the best. I mean, we tell them anyways. We talk about Jack and the Beanstalk, or we talk about Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox, which is basically a retelling of Gilgamesh, but whatever. But I'm going to have so much fun telling her truth just by telling her stories of giants and valleys of fruit, grapes that were probably as big as your head. Things like that. She is going to be in amazed wonderment whenever she gets old enough to really understand it. And then when she gets old enough to really understand it, then I'm going to say, you remember all that stuff I told you as a kid? No, that's all true. That's all true. God wrote it all down in a book. This is stuff you could tell your kids. You could tell your grandkids. These are stories that you can tell your kids and your grandkids so that when they get older, they will already have some idea, understanding of the Bible, of what it means. These are stories. And it's truth. Take it as you want. Let's get going here, though, because we're kind of getting short on time. Bashan and Carmel shall shake off their fruits. Now will I rise, saith the Lord. Now will I be exalted. Now will I lift up myself. Remember, once he destroys that everything, he will claim his throne. Ye shall conceive chaff, ye shall bring forth stubble, your breath as fire shall devour you. And the people shall be as the burnings of lime. As thorns cut up, shall they be burned in the fire. Again, at the end, he separates the wheat from the chaff. And then he takes the wheat, those are allowed to be used. He takes the chaff and he throws them on the fire. But remember, though, that he pulls the chaff first, if I remember correctly. He pulls the chaff first to burn, then he pulls the wheat. I think that's how it was, because everybody, whenever you talk about the allegories at the end, and they say, oh, this shows that when it comes time that he will pull the wheat and he will pull the chaff, and this is so that we will avoid all this and that. But if you really read the Bible, just about every place where it talks about pulling the evil first, then pulling the good. And I've already kind of said, what if the rapture's backwards? What if we've had it wrong? Because just about everything I read, it says that there will be those people that believed left over after the culling. He pulls the chaff first, then he pulls the wheat. So what if that's what it is? What if this rapture is him pulling the evil and then all the good are left? Because there has to be people left for 1,000-year reign. Why would he pull everybody just to put everybody back? It also talks about those that are left that don't take the mark of the beast are the ones that get to reign with Christ in the millennium, the millennial reign. That means that you have to suffer through the mark of the beast. That's that tribulation. Now, if there's supposed to be a rapture of all the good people before tribulation, why are there still people left? Those that make it through. Again, if you read it word for word, it is he pulls the chaff first, then he has his wheat. Just food for thought. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't hear. I've heard a couple people say that, not many, which makes me wonder if we're onto something. Because usually, if there's something that everybody's talking about, it may or may not be true. It might be true. You never know. But I don't know. It's more to research. Don't listen to me. Don't let me be your guide. You go look it up for yourself so you can find out for yourself. Verse 13. Hear, ye that are far off, what I have done, and ye that are near, acknowledge my might. The sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness hath surprised the hypocrites. Fearfulness hath surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burnings? This is the pit. This is the fiery pit at the end of time. He that walketh righteously and speaketh uprightly, he that despiseth the gain of oppressions, that shaketh his hands from holding of bribes, that stoppeth his ears from hearing of blood, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil. He shall dwell on high. His place of defense shall be the munitions of rocks. Bread shall be given him. His waters shall be sure. Let's go back and read. He that walketh righteously and speaketh uprightly. He that despiseth the gain of oppressions, he that does not take the gain of the oppressed, that shaketh his hands from holding of bribes, that does not take bribes, that stops his ears from hearing of blood, hearing of people that are hurt, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil. Now, hold on one second. I actually feel a little better after that one. The biggest problem with this world today, the shutting of the eyes from seeing evil. I am just as guilty of it as everybody else. There's evil everywhere, and we see it constantly. In television, movies, porn, advertising. The New Testament, I cannot remember who it is, they call it being entertained by devils. All of these things that we are constantly told to stay away from. And so many of us have become so addicted to this stuff. And so many people have said, oh, it's just harmless. It's just harmless. Friday, I remember somebody was talking about, oh, I don't think such and such is so, I can't remember exactly what they were saying. I don't think such and such is so bad. It's not like the panic that the fundamentalists had over Harry Potter. No, I am pretty sure if you read the Bible, it's talking about staying away from the Harry Potter. It's talking about staying away from the evil that we see, the evil that we hear, the evil that we take part in, the entertainment of devils. God says, have no part in all of these wicked things. I am just as guilty of that. I ask the Father all the time, take it away from me. Pull me away from it. I've pulled away from a lot. I'm still there, sadly. I'm doing my best. I'm doing what I can. Father, please forgive me for all of the nonsense that I do. Do not let me be a hypocrite. Let me pull even further away from the evil things of this world. But the Bible says it over and over again. Stay away from these things. Don't even just stay away from these things. Have no part in what we do with these things. Some guys I have heard justify it by saying it's just harmless. It's just harmless little things. It's kind of like sticking your child in front of Disney cartoons. Disney cartoons are there to manipulate and hurt, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I hate the fact that my granddaughter is stuck in front of a TV almost all day just to be able to give her something to do. It's like, it's just not the way it is. It's not the way it's supposed to be. And all Disney is just an evil corporation just sent to manipulate you. That's exactly what it is. And they've done they've used all of the understanding and knowledge of all of these psychiatrists and psychologists and these evil manipulators for the past 60, 70 years in order to know exactly what subliminal messages, exactly what soft words that they have to say, the soft, subtle manipulations that they have to make to a kid's mind in order to get them to think a certain way. And all it does is take your child away from reality. Take your child away from the truth. Take your child away from God and change them into something they want. I have seen it firsthand, and I saw a video yesterday of a baby that was watching television, that was watching some Disney movie, and no matter what the mother did, she could not get her kid to look away from the TV. That is an alpha wave brain state where the kid is locked into a show. I have seen it personally myself. Not only is it because of what they do with the shows, where they will manipulate the kids so much into watching the shows, it is now a problem with the digital televisions, the digital signals, the flicker rates, the 60 frames per second. where they could hide anything they wanted to inside of the digital signal in order to be able to get you to watch. It is absolutely, they live out there at this point where they are broadcasting a signal to you, and just inside of the signal, they are posting the words, obey, understand, listen, do what the government says. I don't know if that one, the one video that's going around of the national anthem, I don't know if it's true or not, but it's that kind of subliminal garbage, and that stuff's been around for years. They were researching this back in the 40s, the 30s, and then whenever we magically, whoever won World War II, and then they, Operation Paperclipped all the Germans over, then it just like double timed, and then it just went crazy because half the Germans went to NASA, the other half went to Hollywood. Just saying, man, just saying. And then it just snowballed from there. That MK Ultra was a real thing. MK Naomi was a real thing. You have shows like Stranger Things, putting it right out in front of your face. That's legit stuff that they used to do. Bill Clinton came out and apologized for it. On behalf of the United States government, we are sorry. That doesn't mean that we're stopping. It just means we're sorry. It's still there. They found out everything they need to do to manipulate you in any way, shape, or form. And they put it into television. They put it into books. They put it into music. Oh, it's in music. Backmasking, sadly, is a real thing. But they have us manipulated so much. I truly think the only way that you can get out of it is to do exactly what Christ says. Give up all your worldly possessions, sell everything, give it to the poor, and then go off on your own. All you need is the Word of God. You don't need anything else. You're not watching anything. You're not listening to any manipulation. You're not having any of this stuff. And I think this is what's going to happen eventually, is that if we are going to become true followers and believers of Christ, we are going to have to give up everything in order to stop being entertained by devils. I am, again, just as guilty. I will admit that I am a hypocrite on that 100%. I still have some people to save in my own way. Do I know that I will be judged because of this? Yes, I do. God will judge me because of this, but I have to try. I have to do something. I have to help those that need help. So until that point where God says, okay, you're done. Take your Bible, take the clothes on your back, and go away. Go away from all of this nonsense. Until that point, I have to do what I have to do. But I'm just saying that this is what this is. That stoppeth his ears from hearing of blood, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil. That's what that is. He shall dwell on high. His place of defense shall be the munitions of rocks. Bread shall be given him. His water shall be sure. Okay, verse 17. Thine eyes shall see the king in his beauty. They shall behold the land that is very far off. What land very far off? Is it the land on the other side of the curve, or is it the land on the flat plain? I'm just throwing that out there. That's, it talks about being taken up to a mountain and seeing all the land of the earth. It's just pretty hard to do if you're on a ball. Thine heart shall meditate terror. Where is the scribe? Where is the receiver? Where is he that counted the towers? There we go again with the tower reference. Thou shalt not see a fierce people, a people of a deeper speech than thou canst perceive. Okay, let me read that one again. Thou shalt not see a fierce people, a people of a deeper speech than thou canst perceive, of a stammering tongue, that thou canst not understand. This is whenever you behold a land that is far off, and your heart shall meditate terror. Your heart shall be in terror, because the scribe will not be there, the receiver will not be there. There will be nobody there that you will know, and they will have a speech that you cannot perceive. These people that are way far off are people that you will not be able to understand. Because that's what he did. He separated us on purpose. But there will be a people that are so far away that will not know anything about what you know, that you will be in terror because of it. Look upon Zion, the city of our solemnites. Solemnities, not Solomonites. Jeez. Okay, let me read that. Solemnites. God, what am I doing? Look upon Zion, the city of our solemnities. Holy smokes. It's too early in the morning. Solemnities. Thine eyes shall see Jerusalem, a quiet habitation, a tabernacle that shall not be taken down. Not one of the stakes thereof shall ever be removed, neither shall any of the cords thereof be broken. But there the glorious Lord will be unto us a place of broad rivers and streams, wherein shall go no galley with oars, neither shall gallant ships pass thereby. For the Lord is our judge, the Lord is our lawgiver, the Lord is our king. He will save us. Amen. Thy tacklings are loosed. They could not well strengthen their mast. They could not spread the sail. Then is the prey of a great spoil divided. The lame take the prey. And the inhabitant shall not say, I am sick. The people that dwell therein shall be forgiven their iniquity. Let's read that last one again. And the inhabitant shall not say, I am sick. Just a curious, to make one sick, to be wounded, to be weak. It's just interesting. We talk about the end of days, and we talk about Babylon seducing everyone with her sorcery, with her pharmakia, with her sorcery. We talk about the mark of the beast, and we talk about, again, the pharmakia. We talk about the sickness, the evils, the lies. And we are slowly approaching a point in this world where they are pushing the idea that you cannot survive in this world unless you have their help, unless you have their pharmakia, unless you have their injections, unless you have their whatever. We are slowly getting to that point where it's going to be, if you don't live up by our rules, and if you don't take our medications, and if you don't do this, if you don't do that, you cannot be a part of this system. That's the true giving over to it. That's the sorcery of it. It is just interesting, and I'm not saying that this has to do with that, but we are talking about whenever God takes over everything, whenever he pulls the wheat from the chaff, we are talking about the eternal fire, the fire that shall burn up the chaff when he pulls them out. This is still, in context, we are still talking about whenever the armies flood over the world and kill everybody off, and everybody comes back to God, and God takes over, and there will be a king that rules over them, and this is still in that context. The inhabitants of Zion, the city of our solemnities, solemnites. God, what am I doing? Solemnities. This is a place that shall not be taken down. It is a place that will be glorious. There will be plenty there, and they will live there, and they will be happy there. and the inhabitant shall not say, I am sick. The people that dwell therein shall be forgiven their iniquity. It is just a crazy little thing. Just that little tiny sentence just makes you think. It's just putting that out there. It's just, again, just one of those, whenever the Bible speaks, says certain things, you just have to stop and look at it again and just think. It's amazing how these words line up with what's going on in the world. So, there you go. I don't know what to say other than that. It's pulling these things out. And again, I'm not perfect. There's probably 50 other things in there. But when you read it just on the surface, and you know how it ties in with certain things, and this could very well mean this very well could mean that, taken into context what all of this is, and understanding why it says shutting your eyes off of evil. I mean, this isn't just, it's not like he's shutting his eyes from evil. It's not like, you're walking around and you just see somebody getting killed and you're just like, you move on. This is shutting yourself off from evil, walking righteously, speaking uprightly, despiseth the gain of oppressions. This is the money. This is the gain of oppressions is the oppression of the slavers, which we are all slaves. But this is the money that they gain off of our backs. If you want to take it this way, and this makes it sound terrible, that shaketh his hands from holding of bribes, we are bribed. We take bribes all the time so that we won't speak up and speak out. It's just another distraction. It's income tax returns. It's the amount of money that we get for our work. They bribe us constantly just to shut us up. We speak out too much. Oh, here you go. Here's a $1,200 stimulus. We just got $200. Living in Indiana, we actually had a surplus of money because we didn't use half of the COVID tax stuff that they gave us. So our governor, it's just weird. Our governor gave us $200 tax stimulus because we had surplus. He gave all that money back to us, so we got $200. We went out and we bought stuff for the house. Is what we did. But it's weird. The weird thing is that he did that, and then on the same day that he did that, our governor of Indiana, he goes off to Taiwan after Pelosi went to Taiwan. Why is the governor of Indiana going to Taiwan? What is that? That's a little weird. It's like if, these people used to go to Antarctica. Why are they going to Taiwan? I just thought it was very strange, especially like I said, is once we, it happened back to back. We got the money, and then it's like, I was like, okay, cool, gonna go get some stuff for the house, and then it's like, the next day, it's like, Governor Holcomb is going on his visit to Taiwan. I'm like, wait, what? What? There's things afoot. Even in the heartland of America, there are things afoot. Nothing and nowhere is safe. The Bible says you can't trust these people. You can't trust these people because they are the princes and kings in high places that lay traps and snares for the meek, for the poor. And this is what I've been saying over and over again. You can't trust any of them. You were never meant to vote or put into power a man or woman without the consent of God. God picks these people for you. When you pick these people, God says you will have all this stuff come upon you. It says that back in it's Kings or Chronicles. I don't remember which one it is. Or not, yes, it's either Kings or Chronicles. It's one of the two. God said, we want to have somebody to rule over us. God says, if you take this, then you're going to have all this stuff happen, and you're not going to like it. But people said, nope, we want it anyways. So he gave it to them, and of course, everything started falling apart. Unless somebody's picked for you, unless God picks somebody for you, you're just going to have everything fall apart. So you can't trust these people. You can't trust anyone. You can't put these people into power for yourselves. Because men are fallible. And God knows men's hearts. Men's hearts can be turned. Very easily men's hearts can be turned. If you didn't know that, you can follow some of the men that you thought were the best people in the world, that decided that they wanted to go into politics. They said, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to make sure that this works, and this does this, and this does that. And they go in and they get in the first couple weeks and they start doing good stuff and they start changing stuff. And then 2 months later, it's back to the same old, same old. Here comes the new boss, same as the old boss. Men's hearts can turn so easily. It's money. That's all it is. Money. I've said this before, and people didn't really. Some people say, "Oh, it's not. It's not the mark of the beast." Money is part of the system of the mark of the beast. It may not be money itself, but it's money. It's part of the mark of the beast. It's all going to come down to money, to the ability to be able to buy or sell. That's part of the system. And people will fall down on their knees and worship at the mark, at the number of his name, the value, the currency. They will fall down and worship at the number of his name just to be able to get more money. That's what they do. Men's hearts can be turned. So, where was I going with this? Oh, we've talked about it over and over again. The evil people of this world, those that gain by oppression and all that stuff. But we were also talking about when you hear these things, that, or when you hear something like Bashan, people, again, who was the most talked, other than Christ, who was the most talked about person in the Bible? Is it Moses or is it Og of Bashan? When you talk about evil people in the Bible, it goes Satan and then Og of Bashan. There's something there to it. They want you to know who this person is. They talk about Bashan again, Bashan being the last place, the last fruitful place that's there. Some people have speculated that maybe Bashan is the Garden of Eden. I'm not going to speculate that. I can't tell you for certain. But they want you to know who there's a reason. There's hidden knowledge there that God wants us to know. Bashan. Og of Bashan. Put it out there, It's right in front of your face. There's more to research. There's a lot more to research in that. Anyways, I gotta stop. I gotta start getting ready for work. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. God bless every one of you. I will talk to you all later. Tomorrow, if nothing else pops up. Yeah, I can't think of anything else to say. You guys take it easy, and I will see you later. Bye.